And I tell you, another big guy that doesn't get any credit was Ron Fuller. He wasn't big body wise, but he was like 6'10", 6'11", basketball player, and a brilliant mind for story, brilliant mind for a backstory and booking. Ron Fuller, and he doesn't get the credit. No, a lot of people don't even know who he is, but he would take over smaller territories and just pop them. He'd buy territory that was dead, and he would rejuvenate it, and he had a smart idea. He would get it up and running, and this was his father's attitude too. He would get it up and running and selling out. Then he'd sell the territory, make a couple $1 million and leave. Then when he left, guess what happened to the territory? It died because nobody knew what they were doing. So he'd go back in and buy it at a fraction of what the guy had paid him for it and take it back over. He did that 2 or 3 times.
Didn't he tell people that they were basically buying the wrestlers as well as the territory? Is that where he was getting a lot of value?
I don't know where he said that, if he ever said that. But brilliant guy. You should have him on this show.
I'd love to have him on. We nearly did have him on, but at the time he couldn't. He couldn't do video calls for some reason, but I think he can now. I think he's done it with someone else's, so I'd love to have him on. Contact him, and I highly recommend him for this show because he has I'm going to give a word, dearth, DEARTH, a dearth of information. I think that means a wealth of information. But he can go back because his daddy was and he could tell you about the carnival days because his daddy did all that stuff. And his daddy was the one who gave me the name Dutch Mantell. That's why I know him fairly well. Is it Roy Welch? That's the name, isn't it?
Roy Welch was the grandfather of Ron. And he was the father of Buddy, Roy Welch. And he's like the grandfather of Southern wrestling. And it started in a little town in Tennessee. We talk about Wigan in the UK. But it started in a little town in Tennessee called Dyersburg, Tennessee. And that's where it started. Because it's like halfway between Memphis and Nashville, or maybe more. But they would base out of there.